Right now, there's a four-cornered contest going on in the state of Uttar Pradesh. There's the Congress party, there's the BJP, and the two regional parties, Mayawati's BSP and the Samajwadi party. Right now, all four are contesting on their own, but it is generally thought it will be a hung assembly, and out of the hung assembly will come some kind of alliance. Most people believe there will be an alliance between the Samajwadi party and the Congress to form a new government. If that combination works out, if that has a majority, then you can take it that the Samajwadi party will formally be inducted into the UPA coalition in New Delhi. The government will get an additional 22 seats. Those 22 seats are more than enough to offset Mamta's 18 seats, so there will be security once again in Delhi. There is also a second possibility that the BSP needs some votes to form a government, cannot get an agreement with the BJP, and then there's a possibility, therefore there's a coalition between the BSP and Congress. It's possible. In which case the BSP could be inducted into the UPA coalition in New Delhi, and she will bring 21 seats. So that's okay too. The third possibility, of course, is that the BJP and the BSP form a government on their own, leaving the Samajwadi party and the Congress party both in opposition in Uttar Pradesh. Even that is a good enough ground for an alliance, right? So you can be united in government or united out of government in Uttar Pradesh. And that particular alliance would then once again determine the nature of an expanded coalition in New Delhi. So once you get that particular thing fixed, then your dependence on Mamta goes. So we return to the situation of stable, but alas, still disempowered. It is not as though the UPA is going to suddenly turn on Mamta and say, okay, we've had enough of you. They need Mamta for the presidential election. For the presidential election, there are a certain number of votes for each member of parliament and for each member of the state legislature. People have run all the kinds of sums. Even if you have the UPA plus Samajwadi or UPA plus BSP, they don't have enough votes to elect a president. What they basically need is they need the whole UPA plus Mamta plus BSP, maybe plus SP also. It's a complicated thing. So right now, the Congress party is in the business of kowtowing to everybody in sight to get at least the presidential election through. If that means postponing a decision or two, so be it. Finally, it's worth putting out that the big reform, the thing that really needs to go through for India, is the goods and services tax. Combining the various state-level sales taxes along with the central government's own taxes on goods and on services. For this, you require a constitutional amendment and 2/3 of the states to okay it. For that, unquestionably, you need the support of the BJP. So this is the big thing ahead, and yet there is no guarantee whatsoever it will go through. The problem is not economic. I think everybody understands the advantages of it. But the BJP has a person who is heading the committee of the state finance ministers on this. And I think they more or less made it clear that as long as the central government appears to the BJP to be harassing Narendra Modi and launching various cases to try and put him in jail, they are not going to cooperate on the goods and services tax. So some foreigners might wonder what on earth is the relationship between the two. And the answer is, in India, everything is connected. This year, I would expect to see a much tighter fiscal policy. I would expect to see a much tighter fiscal policy because of the election cycle. I mean, the next election is 2014. If you have an election in April, May, you can't have a budget presented. It will only be a vote on account in 2014. So the big election budget with the giveaways will be 2013. So if 2013 is going to be the soft budget with giveaways, when do you have the tough budget? Now. There are no other budgets in between. So if you ask me, you're going to get a pretty tough budget with a lot of revenue raising and some serious attempts to cut expenditure this year itself. So on balance, I would expect that 2012 should be better than 2011, just to be at the domestic scene. But there are, of course, major risks from abroad. It is possible that the Eurozone collapses with disastrous results for all of us. It is possible that Israel bombs Iran and sends the price of oil to $150, again with disastrous results. So the main risks are from abroad. Domestically, things do look as though they're going to be better this year. Having done 9.5% growth In some years in the last decade, some people thought that is the new normal. We are going to get on that. I would say forget about that. That was an exceptional phase. The new normal is going to be 7 to 8%, well below 9% that people were talking of. Still, 7 to 8% makes you a miracle economy.